looking at Twitter shares right now, hovering about $47. The bid, I believe, was for over $54. As Guy and I are both puzzled about, why is the stock so low?
Hey, well, the stock's up materially from before Elon Musk came into it. I think what the stock is telling us right now is that there's uncertainty whether the board accepts this offer or not. It's not a given. Just because he offered $54 a share doesn't mean that the board's going to accept that. And so there's some hedging around that price, and that's why we're below it right now.
Okay, let's just talk about the kind of the question that underlies all of this. The offer is a take it or leave it. And maybe the stock's trading lower because maybe ultimately the market believes that the board says we're going to leave it, and then Musk walks away, and everything changes, and the stock goes down. And I'm wondering whether that's the scenario that's ultimately being priced in here. Do you believe that this is a take it or leave it issue?
So there's a couple of things in there. First of all, on that take it or leave it point, maybe not. Could be a negotiating tactic. Elon Musk is, has known to change his mind, and just because he kind of put it out there that this is a take it or leave it offer, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. Elon's coming at this from the point of view of Twitter needs to be better about free speech, and it plays a really important role in society. Yeah. And his view that Twitter and its management and the board hasn't done that justice over time. So if that's really what he's going after here, giving a higher offer and thinking about valuation, what the right price is, I don't think that shouldn't be what it's about, right? It's about him taking control and doing to Twitter what he believes the role it should play in society. So no, I don't think just because he said that it's the final offer necessarily means that it is. What happens to the stock if he does walk away and ends up exiting his stake? There's probably some volatility and some downside there. It puts more pressure on Twitter, its board and its CEO to put up the kind of results that will make investors confident in the story, that its user growth and its revenue growth are on track to meet the targets that they've set. So it definitely puts a higher hurdle, especially where the stock is today versus where it was just a few weeks ago.
One of the interesting narratives, I think, in the last couple of years when it comes to Twitter was what might happen to Twitter when President Trump left office. And we know, of course, President Trump was very active on the platform. I'm curious what happens to Twitter shares if for some reason Elon Musk, as you pointed out, could potentially leave this offer and this deal could not go through. But Elon Musk is perhaps equally or even more active than President Trump on Twitter. Does that eat into the brand value of Twitter?
You're asking if Elon Musk leaves the platform and stops using Twitter as a platform himself,
or if he simply doesn't choose to go through with the deal. Really, any of those circumstances. The idea here that Elon Musk perhaps not as active on Twitter as a board member or even as an active participant.
So look, I think what Elon brings to the table for Twitter, which makes sense in his strategy here, is more valuable in a private environment than it is in a public environment. What public market investors will value in Twitter, I think, are different than what Elon Musk is valuing in Twitter. Right? For investors, it's about user growth. It's largely really about user growth, but it's about monetization of those users, where Twitter fits in the digital advertising and social media landscape, and it's about the numbers, right? That's the brass task for public market investors. So if he leaves, I'm not sure that, or if he would have joined, I'm not sure what the value would have been that he would have brought to the table there from the public market investor side. In terms of whether he, if he backs away and sells his stake and doesn't use Twitter as a platform anymore, I think Twitter is bigger than any one individual user. Obviously, yep. Elon Musk is a big personality, but I think there's so much more to it than that.
You wonder what the future of President Trump on Twitter would be post an Elon Musk takeover. That's an interesting question. We'll park that for a moment. Igal, let's talk a little bit about Twitter versus Tesla. This is a very big check that potentially Elon Musk is about to write. Is this a zero-sum game? Is he ultimately, if he wants Twitter, he has to sell some Tesla?
I mean, it maybe if he puts up the whole thing himself, he would likely, partner with a consortium, bring in some private equity and other investors with him. I think that's the most likely scenario, that he teams up with others. He will be the largest shareholder. I'm sure he will put more than the 9% stake he has right now. My guess is there will be others that come along for the ride with him.